with Tears of the Kingdom being out just over 2 months, I wanted to go ahead and give you guys my opinion on how it stacks up to the other games in the series. Now, being a big fan of the Zelda series in general, I definitely have some opinions on which games are some of my favorites. And this is just something I'm doing for fun. Let me know your guys' opinion down below. So we're going to start with the original game here. Now, for the original Nintendo, this one is something game one of my favorite games for the Nintendo, the original. Now, comparing over 30 years, 3 decades of Zelda games, I would say I still think this one really holds up. I know there's a lot of exploring to do, a lot of hidden aspects of the game that may be frustrating to play without a guide, but I think this one still holds up pretty good. It's definitely one of my favorites. I'm gonna put it here in the A tier. I still think it's high on the list, but um, there's I definitely think there's other games in the mainline series that are better. And then we've got A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo. Now I know this is a lot of people's favorite game. I do like A Link to the Past a lot. Um, I may be on some of the minority side, as I do think there are other games on the Super Nintendo games that I enjoyed more or I think maybe better personally. But I do think it's a very solid game, and I do think it's one of the best Zelda games. So I'm going to put it here, just not my top currently. Then we've got Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This one is one I actually ended up playing a little bit later down the road with the Wind Waker game that I got for GameCube. This one was with the Master Quest version. I do think this one is very good. I think this one nowadays some people kind of hate on it, but I do think it's one of the better games, and I actually think it's better than A Link to the Past. Then we've got Majora's Mask. This one I do like. Um, Unfortunately, there's some aspects of this game that I'm not a huge fan of. I think the novelty of the 3 day cycle is very fun. The different masks and the interactions you have with the people throughout the city or the town are very good, and I think are some of the best. But I just don't think it's as good as these three personally. Especially, I don't think it's as good as Ocarina of Time, but it's still a good game. Uh, Wind Waker, Wind Waker. For me personally, I actually do think this is one of my favorite Zelda games in the mainline series. It may not be the best necessarily technically or overall, but I do think it's a S tier pick for me. There's just something about the exploration, the cel shaded graphics, everything about this game is very appealing to me personally. Very appealing to me personally. So that goes there for me. Then I've got Legend of Zelda: Four Swords Adventures. Now this one is actually is the first Zelda game, not that I played, but the first one that really got me into the series, and it's actually the first one I ever completed. I actually think this one is a very good game. It's just a solid Zelda game. It's not out of this world amazing. Um, I don't think it's bad by any stretch. There's really not any bad Zelda games in my opinion. And I put this one in a B tier, definitely below Majora's Mask, but I do think it's very good. Twilight Princess for me is gonna also be this one's gonna be an S tier for me. I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of this one. I know there's a lot of retreads with Ocarina of Time comparing these two, but I do think the darkness of the game, uh, the music, the open worldness of it before open world was really a huge genre. I think there's a lot of aspects to this game that I enjoy, and it just hits right with me. I think um, Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time really are two of my favorite ones, and personally, those are some of my higher tier games, Zelda games. So those will go there. My big problem with this title in particular is that it is a little too long for my taste. Moving on to Skyward Sword, I did not. I did have some friends that played it and enjoyed it. I just never. This game I'm just not a fan of. It's not necessarily a bad game. I can't give an opinion on it based off how good it is. It's just not. It's one that I never have a desire to play. I never had a desire to play this one. Just when they re-released it for the Switch, it just wasn't anything I was interested in. So this is going to be not a fan for me. Not a F game, but not a fan. I'm sure there's plenty of people that enjoy that game. A Link Between Worlds. Now I'm going to get some backlash on this because I actually think, I actually think not only do I think this is a S tier, but hot take here. I actually think it's a better version of A Link to the Past. You know, that's just my opinion. I understand it's not necessarily very different, but the aspect wasn't there in the original game. I think this really does a lot for me personally with this particular title. So that's going to be S tier for me. Then we got Breath of the Wild, which I do think is very good. Obviously, this is one of my favorite Zelda games. Is maybe my favorite of all time Zelda game. It's still it's up there. I don't think it is, but it's definitely one of mine. And then playing through Tears of the Kingdom. I think I actually so far I've enjoyed it so much more. I mean, it's hard to say that I enjoyed it much more, but I do think overall it is a better game. I just think it's more refined, and they really got down pat what they were trying to do with these two games here. So that's my list. What do you guys think? What are your guys' opinion? What is your opinion on it? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like, please subscribe. Let me know. I will see you guys on the next one. Later.